Hi, this is Dave Brixius.
This is your man Joe Cleasy.
And we're here with the high school edition of the program.
Yes, sir.
And first game of the season, baby.
It's finally here.
2 weeks of preseason and 3 days of heat, whatever it's called. Heat, getting ready for your heat, ready. I don't know what it is, but and then the 2 weeks of preseason. Finally, all those scrimmages, all that work, all that time put in now, and it's here. You know what I mean? School started up. You can feel it in the air. High school football's back, and it's going to be an exciting season.
No doubt, and it's only week one. The season won't be made or broken this, in week one, but you can feel the excitement. I know the kids are ready to get back at it in a real game. Some kids got a lot more to prove than others as far as recruiting goes. It's always a part of it, but some teams are rebuilding. Some teams have big expectations. We cover most of the central Pennsylvania area, so a lot of Mid-Penn football, Lebanon, Lancaster, York Adams League. So
we talk about it every year. You set the tone, I think. This first week is setting the tone. Yeah, it doesn't make or break your season. We all understand that, but it's setting the tone. You know what I mean? Are you going to come out and do what you have to do? I mean, you look back at that McDevitt Harrisburg game, which is one of the marquee games again this week, this year, this week. But you look back last year, McDevitt won, but Harrisburg recovered and had a very, very good season. A very, very good season compared to the year before where they were 1-9. They turned it around, made it to the district championship. So just because you might lose that first week doesn't mean your whole season's over. It's shot. I mean, I know a lot of people put it on there, but it definitely can set the tone for you. It can definitely be a breaker. I know. Well, I went out to last year. Lower Dauphin played Middletown, and Lower Dauphin had been coming off back-to-back losing years, very bad. And that set the tone. They went out there and smashed Middletown up a little bit, beat them like 42-0, but it got them that confidence that hadn't been in Lower Dauphin for 2, 3, 4 years back. And they rode that to an 8-3 season, which was the best in, like I said, 5 years or whatever, making the district playoffs.
And some of these teams actually going to get early tests.
Yeah.
We talked about this before, Susquehanna Township.
Yeah.
Right now, they're still trying to figure out who's going to be the starting quarterback. I'm sure they'll have it figured out by the time you guys see this episode, but I went out to that Susquehanna Township Cumberland Valley game this past Friday, not game, scrimmage this past Friday, and Hannah's defense was okay. Again, I don't think they solved the issue at quarterback. I don't think there's a clear-cut winner at this moment, but like I said, by the time this comes out, there probably will be one, and I think that'll be a big key. That's how far the Susquehanna Township team goes. And Spring Grove is, they're definitely no pushovers.
No.
They're in that York Adams league.
I think they're revamped this year. I mean, I really think that, they've struggled in the past a couple years, but I think, from at least what we're hearing from down that area, that they're revamped. They're ready to go. You know what I mean? They got a lot of proof. I mean, that York League does not get the respect, and sometimes so, because that when they do play the Mid-Penn teams, when it comes to districts, they get smacked and beat up a lot. But this would be a good statement game. I mean, Spring Grove's wins could be a big statement, because I know a lot of people are saying that Susquehanna, will be one of the teams that compete in that Keystone with McDevitt, Cedar Cliff, and Lower Dauphin. And you can't forget about Mechanicsburg either. But this could be a big game for them down that area.
And it's a home game for Spring Grove as well. So it's gonna be a tough matchup for them. And speaking of Mechanicsburg, they do have some nice skill players. Swahili Brown. Todd Schubert, quarterback. He came for the media day.
Awesome guy.
Very impressive scrimmage I saw this past Saturday. Last week I also got to watch Cedar Cliff from Manheim Central.
You did a nice job with that taping out there. You did.
Cedar Cliff looked pretty good. Andrew Ford looked good. He had a little shoulder injury. Nothing to get scared about. But also Mike Vitti, wide receiver.
Very good player.
Had a very impressive scrimmage.
He's underrated. A lot of people don't know him. Only going to be a sophomore. This kid, I think, is going to bust on the scene this year. A great athlete, unbelievable athlete. If he matures physically and mentally the way he can, I'm telling you what, this is going to be a kid to look out for. Because the kid's a great athlete, all-around athlete.
You know what? I'll tell you right now. Another scrimmage I actually got to watch. Trinity and. No, actually I didn't watch it, but I saw clips. Brandon Kuntz.
Oh, yeah.
Wide receiver, 6'5", 200 pounds. He's fast, he's big, and he's real athletic. Had 3 touchdown catches this past weekend in the scrimmage. I think about 3 or 4 more catches. So I guarantee you, he's underrated right now, under the radar, but I guarantee he will get people's attention.
You got to that size.
If he doesn't have it now, he will get it within the next couple of weeks. So that's another person.
Yeah, I know. And Trinity's up there. I mean, a lot of people are picking Trinity to go very far in the district this year, if not win it. So I know a lot of high expectations year in and year out over there and stuff like that. And we're going to see if they rise, but they're going to rise with Brandon, I think. You know what I mean? He's sort of that cornerstone. I got to see him with your 7-on-7 team that you took down, and you know, he's very impressive physical specimen. Look like not quite as big as a Trey Clock, maybe height-wise, but not quite as thick. But definitely a kid who can go in the middle, do a lot of different things, and play a lot of different positions.
Definitely, he has a seasoned quarterback in Mike Bugowski. He's been looking sharp this preseason, so you can look forward to them hooking up a whole lot this year. And you know, another game that should be pretty interesting. It's like a running back battle. Shippensburg and Central Dauphin East. Central Dauphin East, we have Chase Edmonds. Shippensburg, William Burke. Two, you know, Chase Edmonds, one of the top running backs.
Yeah, in
Eastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, easily.
Central PA definitely, Eastern PA definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think William Burke, he's underrated. And I think this is the type of game where he'll probably want to prove himself to show he's, you know, just as good or should be mentioned as one of the, one of the good or top backs in the Mid-Penn Conference. So I think this is a perfect game for him. Again, it's only one game, but you know, you're going against one of the best running backs. Chase Edmonds. Of course, you're going against their whole team, but he has to have a little chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Show you know, to not prove himself, but show, you know, hey, I'm a pretty good running back too. And I'm sure the Shippensburg team would like to beat a Mid-Penn Commonwealth team anyway.
Yeah, and they did last year. I don't know, a lot of people maybe forgot. I know East hasn't, which hopefully keep that in their radar. But you know, East was winning that pretty much that whole game. So late in the game, they're up 27, and Shippensburg came back and won that game 21-20. So I know East probably hasn't forgotten, which they should. But I know Shippensburg probably hasn't forgotten, which says, hey, we can compete with these teams. Now they're coming down to our home. Let's see if we can do it again in our backyard. So I think there are going to be some definitely interesting games that are now coming up. One of the big games has been in the past this year. Nobody's really talking about them that much, but I still think will be a very, very good dominant team in Quad A, especially in the Commonwealth Division. The Central Dauphin, year in and year out, they have the numbers. They're a big school. They have plenty of people to fill in. You know, they lost their big studs from a year ago, which I think they really relied on too much. I mean, my honest opinion, they had their big studs, did everything for them. And this year, you don't have any marquee guy. I think the quarterback's definitely right there. Nate Dickey, great baseball player as well. Definitely a great kid. I don't think they're going to miss a step there. They're going to miss definitely with Zaid and Drew not being there. But collectively, this could be a very, very good team. And they're going down, Manheim Township's coming up here, I think, to play them. And they ended Manheim Township season last year. In the district playoffs, I was there. Manheim Township fought to the end. They came back where it looked like I thought they were going to get slaughtered, but they came back and fought. I think it ended up being like 36-30, the final score. And Manheim Township has something to prove. I don't think it's going to be interesting to see Manheim Township this year. Talking to their coach, Mark Evans, who's a phenomenal coach, one of the most underrated coaches around, doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Will have his boys ready. You know, he's going to have them ready when they come up here. He definitely wants to win. He hasn't beaten, Central Dauphin. Had a couple shots at him last year too, first game of the season. Then again, in the playoff game hasn't beaten him. He could definitely come up here and make a huge statement for the Lancaster 11 League in Section 1, come up here and beat a team like Central Dauphin. Not going to be an easy task though. You know what I mean? Never an easy task to get Central Dauphin. And I think it's going to be definitely interesting.
And I think Central Dauphin gets a big boost with Ben Mosey coming.
Oh, huge.
At the linebacker
stud,
position.
yeah.
I mean, they have a couple other studs on defense as well. Cody Zimmerman.
Yep.
He's an impressive player from last year, but definitely Ben Mosey coming back on the defense. Again, you get a veteran player, a leader on defense, and as you said, Central Dauphin is always well coached.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. So I think, like you said, they'll have a more collective effort.
Yes.
This year on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
And I'm hearing good things about the quarterback as well. So it should be a good one over at Speedway, as they call it.
Speed Ebersol Field, yeah. Speed Ebersol Field, yeah, definitely. And they just, I think, redid that field up, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. It should be interesting to see. I think they put a new track in, some bleachers, and they redid the turf. I don't know if they put a new turf in or they just, I don't know what they do, put new rubber down or whatever, however they hydrate the turf over there, but whatever. But it should be interesting to see what kind of field's over there since it's been shut down all summer.
And just to step out of the area real quick, One of the more interesting games, I'm gonna say in the Philadelphia area. Actually, it's two pretty good ones, but the one I'm most interested in is Martin Luther King versus Simon Gratz. It's in the Philadelphia Public League. Now, for the past years, you probably wouldn't even think twice of that game because of how Martin Luther King was in the past. Long story short, Germantown had to close their school down.
Oh.
They didn't have to, I'm sorry, Philly Public, basically the school was shut down.
Yep.
So most of their players ended up transferring to neighborhood rival, Martin Luther King. Germantown already has some good players.
Yeah, always a good program.
So mix them with Martin Luther King, whatever they had.
Yeah.
And plus the transfer of Joe Walker from Mastbaum, who currently has 5 Division I offers. They also got Delane Hart, wide receiver from Germantown, another kid with multiple, about 3 or 4 Division I offers. And they have a defensive lineman, Dante Angus, just committed to Florida maybe a month or so ago. And so King, who I don't think they won a game last year, maybe won one, maybe. Probably was a laughing stock. I think they probably had the biggest turnaround in the history of high school football. I kid you not. I just wanted to shout them out real quick because I think the coaches have done a good job. The kids coming from Germantown to mix in with the kids from Martin Luther King. Like I said, that's a real neighborhood rivalry down there. I'm from that area, but it's been a lot of smack talking between Gratz and Martin Luther King this week, especially on Twitter. We don't condone that, but it's nice. I like seeing them chirp a little bit, but they're going to settle that in the field this Friday, and I think that's one of the more intense matchups in the Philly Public League this weekend. So I just wanted to make mention of that.
Yeah, no, who do you have? I think you have a pretty big Catholic League game too, don't you, down there? O'Hara playing this week?
They're playing, but I think the biggest game it actually involves the Catholic League teams, LaSalle College.
Okay, yep.
And North Penn.
Okay,
that's always a pretty good game. North Penn from the suburban conference.
They're always up there. Yeah, they're always up there in that the echelon of competing for state titles.
Oh, definitely.
Not just competing for their districts. These guys are always mentioned in state talks.
And actually, imhotep defending 2A champs from the District 12. They're actually going out to play a team in Ohio. I wish I could remember the name right now. But they're going out to state. Taking on some pretty tough competition. And they actually have LaSalle next week, so their first 2 weeks are going to be. But they've done pretty good in their scrimmages.
We gotta like that. I like when teams go out and challenge themselves.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? When teams just continue to beat up on other teams all the time, and you say, hey, we won, all these games, we have this many districts, but you're not going out to compete against the teams in other states. Let's see how we compare. Let's see how Pennsylvania football. I know there was an article written in the news this past week about is Pennsylvania football on the decline and all that. And you can see it somewhat. You and I have talked about it for years, probably 3 or 4 years. Why Pennsylvania football maybe is starting to decline is because the speed aspect.
Yeah.
Everybody's going away from that big, slow mentality, but yet Pennsylvania still continues to train athletes that way. They're not doing the things to make the athletes explosive, faster, stuff like that. We have just as good as athletes, but they're not being trained. And we talked about 3 or 4 years. If we can get the kids to be trained correctly, we can have that top-notch program once again right up there with Texas and California.
Yeah, and especially Florida. There's no secret why they go to Florida. Some of the athletes, what can't you teach?
Yeah, you're
Speed.
right. Yeah.
You can, but...
Well, you definitely improve it, but you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. So it's good to see that teams are actually stepping outside of Pennsylvania and making that trek to see how they're going to compare against other programs in other states.
Definitely.
Which is great.
And I think they ended their season last year with a sour taste in their mouth, losing the wild missing.
Yeah, you're right.
State semifinals. So
yeah, definitely a tough loss. Yeah. Now I'm going to go out. Besides the Central Dauphin Manheim Township game, I'm going to get out to see Camp Hill, who you and I have talked a lot about this year. I know we've been on their high horse since the end of last year, seeing Mike Schuster, who played for your 7-on-7 team over the summer. I know you've done a lot of stuff with them. With the addition of Coach Gay, he'll be there for the 3rd year, has that program running in the right direction. I know they started out 4-2 and ended up 4-6 last year. But he was working out the kinks, and I think he got them worked out. I mean, 2 stud running backs. Finally, I know he's been licking his chops to finally get Bill Williams, who's been a stud, to be playing up there. Finally, he's going to be in 9th grade. It's funny because just 2 weeks ago in their opening scrimmage, his first carry, 70-yard touchdown run. Second one, 50-yard run. So this kid is definitely the real deal. I know you and I have spoken all the time about him. They also have a kid out of Philly transferred up. I think it's the 2nd year. He came midway through the season last year, Khalil. I think that's how you pronounce his first name. He's another kid. You know what I mean? Can do stuff. These guys, what I like about them, they're small, short, but they don't mind running between the tackles. They don't care. They're all about smash mouth. You don't got to get them outside to beat you. They're going to run right up and down that field and take it to you. And they're playing Upper Dolphin, who a lot of people have as a rebound team. You know, getting there, you know, doing much better this year, and it's going to be at Camp Hill. And I really want to see how this all goes. Is this going to be the Camp Hill team that scored, you know, to average close to 40 points a game last year? I still think they can do it, if not better, this year. You know, they're a cohesive unit. If you live in the Camp Hill area, you know Camp Hill's a small community. They're really community-based. It's not like some of the schools out here where kids come from 10, 15, 20 minutes away. This is a small community-based team where the whole town supports them. So it's going to be interesting. I've never been to a Camp Hill game over there. I've been to other ones, but not at Camp Hill. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people in this community come on out to see this game.
You hit it right on the head. It's a nice atmosphere. I've been to several Camp Hill games in the past. And speaking of Camp Hill, I'll probably check out who will probably be one of the stiffest competition in single A division in District 3, still high.
Yeah, huge.
They made it to the championship game last year. From the
District
championship came up a little bit short, but I think they have several good skill players. And so it'll be interesting to see how they gel, especially with James Warren at quarterback. He's a phenomenal cornerback on defense. It'll be pretty interesting to see how he makes out at quarterback. They have some nice athletes. Twanee Chisholm, nice linebacker.
Yeah.
Logan Davis, cornerback, very good player. So go down to the roller pit. It's been a while since I've been down there, so I'll definitely add a video and highlight footage on it.
And that's at Steel High?
That's Steel High.
You gotta love that place too. Sitting up on that hill. How can you beat it? Cottage Hill, baby. You gotta love that. You know, that's just an awesome place. They got those lights, got the nice turf put down. That's gonna be a great atmosphere. It's gonna be a good night for them. It's gonna be a good night to see opening night. And I heard, you know, the weather's supposed to be good. So I hopefully a lot of fans out there get out there, support, and get out and see these games this weekend. I know the marquee game, I know you're definitely going to be headed out to.
Yep, of course, it's Harrisburg versus Bishop McDevitt at Bishop McDevitt's new field.
Yeah.
No longer on Market Street. You know, hopefully everybody's over that by now. But anyway.
Probably someone still head down there.
Take a couple pictures, whatever.
Yeah.
But once again, it's I'm not sure who it's more important to. I think it's more important to Harrisburg to get a win. It's been a long time since they've beaten Bishop McDevitt.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have to go back to 2006, 7?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
I mean, you know, I hate to remind people, but it's been a while. And they were so close last year.
Yeah.
But even though they lost, I think it was a good catalyst for their season because, you know, everybody around know, hey, we're going to be a tough team to deal with this year. And they were. Yeah. Came up a little short in the District 3 championship game, but they probably should have won that Bishop McDevitt game, but Bishop McDevitt won that game. Now this year, you know, Bishop McDevitt comes into the game loaded on offense, and their quarterback might be better than advertised. I'll tell you what, these guys are loaded. I mean, you have 15 returning starters. You have a whole offensive line back. How many coaches can say, hey, I'm a whole offensive line comeback? Usually you're good if you have 3. Yeah. You know, if you get 3 back, you're like, hey, we're set. These guys are boasting their whole offensive line. Their front 7 defensive-wise are unbelievable. Got to see a couple clips of that Lancaster Catholic game. Their defensive front 7 just utterly destroyed Lancaster Catholic. I mean, they were in the backfield all day long. And that's what, you know, I don't think people understand. This is where McDevitt might thrive this year, is that defense. I'm not taking any away from their offense, let's be honest. They have all the weapons. I know you're losing Alec and you're losing Brian, but these guys just reload. You know, they don't you know, have another season where it's a rebuild season. They don't rebuild, they reload. And Coach Wecht up there does a nice job. I mean, I know he gets a lot of criticism and stuff like that, but he reloads, gets them back. I know they lose some of the tough games there at the end, but these guys are always back there, and that line's all back. So that makes all the difference for that quarterback. Yeah, talking, you know, on the defensive line, like Steve Marazi, Mike Pulaski, the other DN, Kendrick Lewis, that defensive tackle. Yeah. Now, I mean, it's a lot of talent on defense. We haven't even talked about the offense. Yeah. Andre Robinson, Rashard Lawson, backfield, Kobe White, Tyrone Gibson. I mean, we're talking about speed and power, and you know, it's going to be a lot for Harrisburg to deal with. And from the Harrisburg end, talk about Robert Martin on offense. You know, probably the best running back in the state. One of the best anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely the best in this area. Several other good skill two-way players. Darian Davis-Ray, running back and defensive back. Joey Adams, linebacker. Daquan Ware, cornerback, wide receiver. Michi Walker, receiver, cornerback. So they have some good skill players here and there. Their offensive line is definitely going to have to be the big difference in this first week. As you mentioned, McDevitt has that pretty good front seven.
Yeah, like I said, I've heard from not so much the McDevitt guys, but people associated, you know, seen them play, say that this is one of McDevitt's most talented defensive teams ever. And you think back to some of the defensive teams that they've had in the past, you know, Noah Spence, Brock Dean, those guys. To say that, put them in that sentence, wow. I mean, that's going to be pretty impressive here to see how they come out and play. And that atmosphere is going to be nuts. I mean, I understand you're not down the street anymore. You're in a new place. McDevitt wants to make sure that they do the job at home, take care of it. And, you know, Harrisburg will love nothing more than to spoil that first game. You know, I mean, you know the crowd's going to be into it. It's a rivalry, one of the biggest rivalries, if not the biggest rivalry, let's be honest, in this area. Just from, you know, them being so close proximity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Growing up, you know, being a part of that rivalry is always something, you know, you like to see. And it's going to be definitely probably one of the marquee games this weekend.
Indeed, and, you know, of course, I'll be there. So, of course, you can check out PREPS.
I know you'll probably be tweeting the whole time about that game.
Oh, yeah,
I know you.
Definitely.
So you can always keep up to date with Joe here when he's tweeting during the game.
Yep, I'm at Joe Cleasy1, the number 1. On Twitter, so but I'll definitely, you know, have updates here and there, and on PREPS.com I'll have, you know, highlights and, you know, several write-ups. And again, you'll see some video clips on Twitter as well. So it should be a great weekend of football. Like I said, capping it off with Harrisburg and McDevitt.
Saturday morning, baby. How can you beat it? 10:30 a.m. Get some breakfast. Get up to the game. You know, enjoy. Get up there early. All right. You know, you can't park. They've only so many parking spots now at the new place. You know, you can't be parking in the.
Got to get there real early.
Yeah, can't be parking in the streets anymore. So you got to make sure you get out, get up early. But we want to wish all the players, all the coaches, everybody who's putting the time over the last 2-3 weeks now to get themselves prepared. Best of luck. You know, I hate to see kids get injured, so hopefully everybody condition themselves, train themselves to stay above that fray there, so they stay healthy and raring to go for this awesome high school football season that's upon us now. I mean, heck, just a few days away.
Yeah, it's finally here. So
yeah, and that's what that's what it's all about. These kids working hard and getting some recognition for it, and anything we can help do. You guys, honestly, you guys out there, and you want to be mentioned on the program, send us definitely to Joe some tweets, whatever you guys want. Email me, Facebook me, Explosive Sports Performance. You guys can definitely do whatever you need to do. Mine's DBrixius. My Twitter there. So definitely send us whatever you guys want. We'll be more than happy to speak about it the next one. Even if you guys would like to be interviewed, we'd love to have somebody come on over. You know, Tuesday night, Monday night. We'll set it up around your football schedule. Have you come on in, sit down and chat with us. You know, we'll do it the right way. Make sure you guys, you know, get that. We'll get it out to help you guys out any way we can.
Definitely, and this is the premier high school show.
Yeah.
It's the program.
Yeah.
So, and you can see on the screen right now, we have a Twitter for the program as well, so it's across the screen right now. So hit us up anytime. Like I said, you hit him up on his Twitter personally. You can hit me on my Twitter, but definitely want to help the program. It's on your screen right now. So
yeah,
you know, we're here. The season started.
It's here, man. So it's going to be interesting, and we want to wish everybody the best. And definitely make sure you guys continue to follow us. This is Dave Brixius.
This is Joe Cleasy.
And we're the high school program.